Half-Life 1 takes place over the course of about 2-ish days. The first day starts in Black Mesa inbound at 8:47 in the morning and ends right around the end of On a Rail as we see night. Gordon is kidnapped and thrown in the trash compactor at the start of the second day in apprehension. While we can't tell exactly what time it is on Earth, as Gordon is in Zen at the end of the game, based on how many broad daylight maps there are in the second day, we can assume that Zen takes place at dusk or night on the second day. This means by the end of the day, Gordon is fighting the Nihilanth in the chapter Nihilanth. Half-Life 2 takes place over the course of 3 days, with day 1 beginning with Gordon arriving at the City 17 train station in Point Insertion, and ending while Gordon is in the mines of Ravenholm in We Don't Go to Ravenholm. Day 2 begins in the port areas of Ravenholm in the same chapter, and ends at night with Gordon and Alex narrowly escaping the implosion of Nova Prospekt via teleport in Entanglement. Day 3 begins with Gordon and Alex arriving in war-torn City 17 in Fall of Freeman, moments after. Now, where Day 3 ends is dependent on Episode 1 and your interpretation of the sky and passage of time between events. With atmospheric conditions and the huge amount of time in the Citadel, underground, and the actions of the Vortigaunts, it's a bit hard to gauge when exactly this takes place relative to the end of Half-Life 2. The only clue we get is in EP1_Citadel_00, where the sun is basically at or below the horizon, either signaling that the sun has gone down further than it has at the end of Half-Life 2, thus being Day 3 until some point between Undue Alarm and Lowlife, or it's the morning as the sun is coming up and all of Episode 1 takes place fully in one day. Either way, the chapters Urban Flight and Exit 17 would be during the 4th day. And as with Episode 1, there's a bit of ambiguity with Episode 2. Again, we don't know the exact jump in time between the end of Episode 1 and the beginning of Episode 2. Thankfully though, with enough of the atmospheric conditions cleared up, we catch the sun beginning to set in T-1 and in the post-credits scene of Half-Life Alyx, meaning that Episode 2 is either the remainder of Day 4 or all of Day 5. This means that for Gordon, he has been awake and perceived the events of Half-Life 1 through to the post-credits scene in Half-Life Alyx in the matter of nearly 6 to 7 continuous days if we ignore the G-Man stasis. Which means the closest thing he has gotten to sleep are instances of traumatically forced unconsciousness, like an apprehension, and possibly a few hours between the episodes, depending on how you want to interpret those sequences.